Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time, back with his good friend Emil, and we're going to talk about something today that's a little different. And with that, I will let Emil take over. How you doing, buddy?
I'm great. It's been a while. Good to
Yeah,
chat with you again.
it's been a while. Thank you for doing this. And I'm looking forward to this conversation. For me, it's been a year in the making.
Yeah, so I had no idea. You kept this one under wraps pretty well. I had
Yeah,
just been following along, watching videos lately, and saw that you just published your second book, which is
yeah.
super exciting. Congrats.
Thank you, thank you.
And wanted to ask you some questions. I want to learn more about it before I
Yeah,
get to dive in myself.
yeah. So the reason is I don't know about everybody else. Writing for me is not a skill that I have in spades. It is hard, and it's hard work. And I've I probably started writing 4 or 5 different books before this one hit me, and I'm like, oh, this is something. This scratches an itch that I think the world needs or my audience needs. Some of the early drafts, it was like, this feels more like for me, or that's too hokey. But this one really grabbed a hold of me about a year ago, and I'm like, okay, little by little, we worked on it. So, yep, it got published on Saturday.
Nice. So I think it's always good to start with why. You had already published the book. I read it. I loved it. Kind of
Thank you.
details your journey and the different phases you guys went through. But
Mhm.
why did you feel like you had to write a follow-up and a second book here?
Because I think there's more out there, right? I think real estate investing offers a lot more options. While I'm extremely proud of our book and our story, it is just that it's one way, right? We were buy and hold investors who, you know, worked full time, lived below our means, and bought one at a time, as the book says. But because of this channel, because I've been lucky enough to do 4,000 different videos and probably talk to 1,000 other investors, I know there are other ways. And what I wanted to do is I want to be the inspiration for everyone. And that's a big deal to me. And I'm very, very focused on only talking about what I know, but I do invite others to bring their expertise. So what really hit me a year ago or 11 months ago was, you know what? You've talked to some amazing other investors who got to the finish line, but got there differently.
Mm.
So I started combing through old interviews, and I found 15 that kind of spoke to me, that were kind of a nice smorgasbord of different expertise and levels and ways. And I'm like, I think there's something here. So really the whole idea was, yeah, the first book is great if you're a full-time worker, raising a family, it's awesome. But the next one's going to be 15 stories of 15 different ways, different, starting late, early, single, couples, burr, out of state, stuff that I never talk about in the first book is in this one. So I'm pretty excited about it.
Nice. Can I ask what some of the other ideas you had of books were?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, the other books could have been, I thought about doing one rental at a time post retirement, but I haven't been out enough, right? The first book was 15 years in the making, and as of today, I've been out 3 years, right? It felt like it'd be more of a pamphlet than a book. It just didn't meet my meat on the bone. And yes, I do think there will be another one rental at a time kind of second edition post retirement, but that's probably after a decade, right? I think I rushed it too soon. And frankly, that was an idea from somebody else, right? Sometimes I love having an audience and I love the ideas that they give me, but when I take them and I marinate on them, it just doesn't feel like my own, really. And frankly, I don't like talking about myself all that much, right? I don't talk about raw numbers that often. I don't do the look at me thing. But man, I've talked to some amazing people. So yeah, that was one.
You are pretty unique in that way, actually. You're like the only person I know who has like a really, really serious portfolio who doesn't really talk about the numbers. So
Yeah.
kudos to you on that. I'm sure, it's hard when people are like puffing their chest all over YouTube and social media to take the high ground. So I commend you for that, sir.
Thank you.
What else did I want to ask you here? Yeah, I personally, I would love to read your like 10 years after retirement, because I think you're entering like a second career. You're doing a lot more active stuff, and I think that's super interesting too.
Yeah, I mean, there is definitely something there. I mean, for example, right? I never flipped a property. but I've done 56 or 57 now and about to close 2 more, which will take us to 59. There's something there.
Totally.
I did a 6 in 20 program, which was totally brand new, raised millions of dollars seemingly overnight, certainly in a month, just by giving back, right? Giving out returns that would have been above expectations, created a YouTube channel from scratch, have a social media presence, which I didn't have while working. So there's a lot there, but I'm pretty, or at least I try to be humble. Maybe that'll come in 5 or 6 or 7 years.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it. That's all the questions I had around why, but we have some more questions for some other videos.
Very cool, man. I appreciate this. This is fun. Thank you for allowing me to think about it.
Absolutely.